the word complicated, like for me, must only be applied when I'm trying to do a math equation that it's complicated,
Yeah.
you know, or when I'm trying to work out the voting blocks on Survivor, it's complicated. When I'm trying to bake something, it's complicated. But my relationships, I want to come out, and I kind of think this is also because of the age that I'm at now. But
Yeah.
I want to come out straight out the gate and kind of be like, okay, is this where the friendship line is drawn? Is something going to happen? Is it not going to happen? And
Yeah.
that's where.
So do you want to introduce yourself and let people know who you are and how we met?
So for those of you guys who don't know me, my name is Fahdil. That's my only name, Fahdil Baker. Yeah, I don't have any other names. Contrary to popular belief, I don't know why some people thought I would have an Ahmed or a Mohammed or anything. Currently studying law. I actually don't I think for the next maybe year or 2 years, I don't want to actually introduce myself and be like, I'm Fadil and this is what I do.
Okay.
Because everything kind of still feels like it's still very incubated.
Yes. Okay.
But if you ask what's keeping me busy, I am busy studying law and watching Survivor. Those are the things. I'm not doing that. I'm probably making something in the kitchen. I'm probably cooking something.
Okay.
Yeah, so if there's two things I could possibly do all day, every day, is cook and watch Survivor. Today, we are talking about friendships and we are talking about relationships, on a friendship level. And the one thing I maybe want to start with saying is that the one thing I loved about our friendship, and I still do, is that our friendship has managed to evolve. And I don't want to say it has become better, it has matured. But the one thing I love about our friendship is that we've able to weather the storms and become different things to each other from the beginning until, from being casual acquaintances to a point where we kind of had to be colleagues, colleagues.
I actually had a throwback on, sorry to interrupt you, I had a throwback on Facebook. I actually wanted to share it when I came to watch you preach the one time. And you were like, my family and my colleague. And I'm like, oh, so we're not friends? The way I was so wounded that night.
I'll just kind of go all my family,
Carry on.
Yeah. And so and even now, that we've grown as individuals and still being able to be friends and still kind of, I enjoy that it's still the very simple things that keep us friends.
Yeah.
It's very simple things. I think you're the one person that I can call sometimes when I've either done something stupid or like my hot dog story.
Yes.
I missed my alarm because I had a midnight snack.
Or when you forgot change when you went to the mall.
Exactly, or and I can call, and I know there's places for tough love, but there's also that place where we do the most human things.
Yeah.
Will probably never show up on Instagram feeds, but
then
here we are for each other. So,
and it's an authentic friendship. So I want to ask you, what are 3 of the most important things to you in a friendship?
I had so many different things running through my mind, when I thought about that question, because I think a lot of times whenever we think about making friends, or whenever we think, okay, we're going to a braai where there's going to be new people, or you're going to kind of put yourself out, there's going to be new people. I almost feel like the place that we get it wrong is that we're always expecting people to audition to become our friends. Mm-hmm. And the way we do that is that we kind of have this long list of criteria, that if you want to be my friend, if you want to be Fadil's next BFF, cue the lights and the music, whatever, you got to make sure that all of these things line up, you know. And so I began making this list to answer that question. You know, what are the three things that I look for if someone this thing? And then, like halfway through my 365-page notebook, I thought, hold up, man, like, no, what kind of expectation am I creating here, you know, like to invite people into my life? And so then I thought, okay, you know what? This is rather the way that I'd like to kind of present myself into a friendship, right? And I kind of think that that's already a healthier thought pattern coming into a relationship. And I'm not saying don't scout the other person out. I'm not saying go blindly into it. But what I am saying is I think the first step forward in a friendship is kind of to put my best foot forward and say, okay, this is who I am, and this is presenting who I am, you know? And so I thought of three kind of categories of where someone can find themselves in a friendship. I wrote the word enabler over here, and then I wrote the word fixer over on this side. And then somewhere in the middle, I wrote the word supporter.
Okay.
And, you know, these are just like thoughts that were going through my mind. And so when I thought is that on the one hand, you find that a lot of friendships begin because people want to enable each other, you know? So your enabling friends are the type of friends that like, they won't watch out for the red flags in the relationship as long as you have a boyfriend. You know, they won't tell you you've got a drinking problem as long as you keep the money, as long as you keep popping the bottles and getting the money out. They will always enable your dysfunction because it helps them in some or other way.
Yeah.
Right? So, and you kind of think that, you know, it's the extremes of the examples that I've used, but think about this, that if you were in a relationship and you wanted to phone someone, not to fix that relationship, but just to complain about your man or complain about your lady, you don't phone the person who's going to give you common sense to get out of that. You want to call someone who's going to enable you to stay and enable, like they wants to keep on enabling that relationship, right? So I put that all the way over here because I think in some or other way we all enable people to kind of be either the best or the worst version of themselves, right? And then I put on the other hand the fixer, and really I always find that majority of our friends are either enablers, or let me say me personally, when I introspect, I'm either the enabler. No, you're doing fine. Don't have to stop partying so much. You know, we'll get done on Monday. No, let's spend the money. No, stay with him. You know, boys go through stuff. Or, you know, enabling. And then all the way on the other hand is my fixing side. My fixing side is you're always keeping these friends around because you're the one people are always coming to advice for. And instead of seeing yourself as someone who is mutually beneficial in that relationship, you kind of get off fixing everything, you know? But then what happens is that you move from just giving them advice to kind of being a mechanic for people. And no human being is designed to have that responsibility. You understand? And when I say a fixer, I kind of mean like, not you come to me and I help you with the problem. I'm talking about now I start evaluating my friends' lives and I was like, you know what? If Angie can just fix this about herself and fix it, and then I'm like, you know what? Maybe I can try and do it. You know, sometimes it's even on the other hand, I'm like, I can give you 10,000 Rand because I want to fix the fact that you've got a gambling problem. Maybe if you have money, you won't gamble. So now I want to fix you. You know what? Maybe if I dress a certain way, he won't cheat on me. I want to fix. You understand? But when I find these two areas and they kind of come to the middle for me is that when I think about what's the important thing for me as a friend is that I want to be a supporter. you know. And the reason I want to be a supporter is when I think about the word supporter, I know it has kind of different meanings and I'm going to kind of jump in between them here, but just to get my point across is that I want to be a supporter in the terms of that when you're weak, I want to support you with my structure.
Yeah.
Whether that be emotionally, whether that can possibly be financially, whatever that is, I kind of want to know that I'm the kind of friend that can add to your structure. I can support, provide some kind of structure and support to your life. I also, on the other hand, I also want to be the supporter that when you win, I'm your number one supporter in the crowd. I can cheer you on. When I think about the word support and I describe like what's probably the most important thing is that I kind of bring it down to supporter is because that's mutually beneficial and it can be a two-way relationship between the both of us. Sometimes one is weak, the other time someone is strong. But you say, okay, fine. What if you're weak and I'm on the fixer side? The problem is when I'm weak, you're going to try to fix me. So you're going to send me 500 Bible verses. You're going to try find me a new mate. I crash the car, you buy me. That's not solving the issue. That's kind of like putting tape over it.
Yeah.
But if I'm a supporter, if I'm supportive, then when something like that happens, I'm there to support you. I'm there to uphold you. I'm there. I can be supportive. If you're going through financial difficulties, and I know it's because you brought it on because of your misdoings or whatever it is that you are, I can be the supportive kind of friend and walk the road for you to get out of that.
Yeah.
That kind of thing, you see? Yeah. So I kind of see this enabling thing and fixing and all through like kind of our society, like I kind of see is enabling and the fixing. And I kind of see that a lot of people spend that these two circles kind of always overlap each other, that it's enabling and fixing. Okay. But I kind of think that supportive just kind of meets very well in the middle. It's very balanced. You're able to make clear, that if I go to a place and I'm, possibly looking for new friends, I'm thinking to myself, I'm kind of, my links are up for supporters, supportive, you know what I mean? And I'm kind of being a type of person that I'm trying to enact.
Okay, that makes sense. That was actually quite an amazing answer. I didn't expect that answer because some people are like, oh, I want someone that's fun, friendly, like, and that's such a shallow answer.
My first answer was funny, like sense of humor. That was like my first thing because I was like, you want to be my friend, make me laugh.
Yeah.
And, and then I thought to myself, I'm actually asking for an enabler to be my friend.
Oh, yeah.
Because by always making me laugh, they are enabling my sense of social distancing.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like they always, so I don't ever have to come out of my shell. I don't ever have to say anything. I don't have to share anything personal. I don't have to let my guard down because you always making me laugh. Laughter, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But a supportive friend will be like, okay, listen, I understand kind of your love language that like you like laughing, you like making jokes out of things, whatever. But now we need to let the wall come down and like what's actually what's hiding behind that laughter.
Yeah. I hear you. That's a cool answer. And then on that same line, like when you meet people, obviously the supporter part, I think that'll say something, but like what immediately says this is someone that I can gel with, this is someone that I want to connect with or get to know?
Yes, I think this is probably one of the most difficult things for me. And like this whole talk in essence is like, it's a bit difficult for me because I am an introvert. I am a very shy person. I kind of choose my 3 and stick to them, or like these are my 5. And like even if I go somewhere, if you were to see me in a shopping mall, I've got my head down. I'm going straight to the thing I want to do. I'm not really like sometimes like I watch my friends, like we pull up to a petrol station and they're having a conversation with the guy, like the petrol attendant and the lady behind the till, and they're chatting and whatever. I think to myself, I'm like, I don't have anything to say here. Until, interestingly enough, I when I was on the reality show I was on last year, October,
Mm.
I don't think I thought this thing all the way through, in the sense that, for me, I was thinking about we're not going to eat a lot of food. Um, it's a very small space. There's so many people. I thought about all of those things, but what I didn't think about was that I would have to make friends with 49 other people
Oh, wow.
for my success, to determine my success,
Okay.
And looking back, one of the things that a lot of people during interviews, people asking me questions after the show, people always ask, what's the one thing you would have changed? Could you go back and do it again? I would have made better social connections in the house. I would have made better social connections. And so I don't know, like how many people feel this way, but for me, sometimes it's just opening, like it's kind of opening up your life and opening up your heart and allowing that to be the filter of kind of whether people are coming in or people are going out. Instead of like putting up this this mesh fencing that's made up of fashion and music style and religious beliefs and all of those, like all of those different, like whether you're for abortion or against abortion, or whether you're for this or for that, whatever. And opening up my heart and saying, okay, I'm meeting you for the first time.
Mm.
I haven't put up this smoke screen of who I'm pretending to be. Let me listen to you in honesty, because in an environment of honesty, like fake can't prosper.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So we all have likes and dislikes and stuff. And the one thing, look, I did make some friends while I was on the show. And the people that I did befriend, and when I look back on it, it's genuinely the people who I wasn't trying to find out who has the same music taste as me or whatever. Because first of all, the show was 99% Afrikaans.
Okay.
And 99% of the people, I think I was possibly the only English spoken person there.
Oh, wow.
So that changed music influences. It changed a lot of things, but when we would sit outside on the veranda and it's sometime in the afternoon, we don't know the time, we're hungry, all we know is that we're going to get something to eat in the evening, we're sitting out on the thing. It was the conversations like, so tell me about yourself, or where did you grow up? And like there were some people who were boring as hell, like you keep on having to keep the conversation going. But at the same time, I realized that we were getting so close and we became so close because I wasn't saying the only people I'm going to become friends with are people who think like me, act like me, talk like me, because that was the criteria. And the reason I'm using the show as a reference is because, like, I have a problem with that. Like, I am not the guy who has, I have 100 contacts on my phone, but I probably speak to like 3 of them socially. You know what I mean? So yeah, like I kind of think that like for me, I'm kind of just, I'm kind of what I'm bringing to the table. I'm coming to the table and being like, listen, this is me. So I'll genuinely be myself. You genuinely be yourself. And chances are we're going to find a lot more in common being genuine with each other than just, oh, you like Gucci? Yeah, I like Gucci. Or you like Prada? Or I like,
Because I feel like that's very shallow. And do you feel, because this is obviously an area in your life that you're working on, do you feel that being on the show helped you improve that? Just in terms of coming out of your shell and getting to know people, especially because of how we were raised. I sometimes wonder if some of the people that we're friends with were friends, like there's certain people that were in our lives based on situational friendships. Like we all attend the same church, so we're just friends. And so now coming out of that, having to make friends for the first time, I don't know if you can relate, but for me it was a challenge.
The thing about being on the show was that even if, you see, in real life, if we were all sitting at a table at a restaurant together, and there's like maybe 2 people who I'm just like, I'm not talking to you, I'm not getting in your space. It was nice that we could all be here for maybe this one person and we could celebrate their birthday, but our paths are just never crossing. For me, what helped me during that show experience was that it was in my face 24 hours. I think I was there. I think I was in the house for almost 10 days or 12 days. It
Wow.
was in my face, you know, throughout that entire time. There was um, different types of people, different types of personalities. It's there. You know what I mean? So personally, yes, I do think that I kind of learned how tolerant I am. I kind of learned how much patience I have. I kind of learned, and there's nowhere to hide. Not everybody is going to be fortunate enough to kind of test their personality strengths on a TV show.
Yeah.
But I can tell you that was a position for me to be like, there's nowhere to hide.
Yeah.
Nobody knows me. Nobody knows my background. People are kind of, from what my name tag says, that's what people are, from what they see and my name, that's all they know about me. And I could possibly tell them things about my past, all the good things. They could just be like, this guy's lying.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so I kind of think that it is challenging to kind of like go out and not try to make things. But the pressure that we put on ourselves is, like you said, do we reference old friendships and want new people to take those old people's
Places.
places in our lives? Do we put pressure on ourselves that every person that we meet is going to be a lifelong friend? Like you meet someone and you begin clicking with them, they like the things you like, you guys like talking about the same thing, and you're already thinking like 20 years from now, this is going to be my maid of honor, 20 years from now, this is going to be my groomsman, 20 years, whatever. And we just need to take that pressure off ourselves, because relationships are messy. Relationships, you know one of the reasons that's very ironic, I'm not good at baking. And one of the reasons, and I'm laughing because my surname is Baker. I mean, imagine I was a baker and I'm a baker. But the reason I'm not good at baking is because, I struggle more with baking, is because everything needs to be measured precisely. If they say 1 teaspoon of baking powder and 4 cups of flour, you better follow that baking recipe. Otherwise, you're going to get a cake that's inside out. Whereas with cooking, cooking is it's a little bit messier. It's a little bit more interesting because some people like a little bit less salt. Some people like a little bit more salt. Some people like it sweet. Some people like it spicy. Some people like it. And you always, for me, when I cook, there's more of a rhythm. It's a rhythm, and certain things come together. Certain things burn better than other things. I want certain things a little bit more charred. I want certain things a little bit sweeter. I want certain things a little bit more saltier. I want certain things saltier and spicy, whatever. And that's kind of what our friendships are like. You can write out a recipe, but I can guarantee you that when it comes to cooking, the chef can say, half a cup of water, cook that thing 4 or 5 times. You'll find out that maybe you want a full cup or 2 cups or a quarter cup. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And the same thing with our friends. Like, if you try to take these new people and put them into, there are people who play the same role in our lives sometimes. Like earlier on, you were explaining to me that this new couple is kind of like someone that you used to know and whatever. That's perfectly fine, because sometimes people, they come into our lives, they fill those, but I'm talking about, like, if you want to cookie cut these 6 things and make these 6, you will forever be lonely, because life is more like a well-cooked pot of curry that, like, no one can tell you exactly how to cut these potatoes or how long to do whatever, but like for each man the recipe, each family the recipe becomes different.
And talking about just friendships being messy, how do you deal with friendships ending? Because sometimes that happens. I mean, due to seasons changing, moving, maybe conflicts within the friendship, like how do you deal with that within yourself?
You know, I, man, I can give you so many different, you know, a lot of times people are like, my friends left and, or, you know, I had to let those people go, and it's all the time for good reasons. You
Mm.
know, like, man, I kicked that man to the curb, or like I let those friends out of here because I don't want to, whatever. And I kind of think a lot of time that's the easy way, and you bail and you like, listen, cheers, guys. It's either like you either become healthy with me, or
Mm.
you got to stay where you are, you know? And I think it takes a lot of guts for someone to tell their friends, listen, guys, this is probably the most um, like toddler example I can use, but it's kind of like, listen, guys, I'm gonna stop smoking. Can't hang around you guys anymore because when I'm around you, I also want to smoke.
Mm.
So I like, here's an option. You guys can be healthy with me. A lot
Okay.
of times people are too quick to throw everyone away at once.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Uh, Somebody just recently, they were saying to me, you know, and I'll say it was kind of like this guy was like, you know, me and my guy friends, and this person's much younger than me, and they were saying, you know what, like, I'm just cutting off all of these guys because we're always talking about porn and we're always talking about girls and we're talking about these things and that kind of thing, and I just feel convicted in my heart. Listen, how I'm going to use the right language now, you know.
Mm.
And I just felt in my heart that God was convicting me and I shouldn't whatever. And so I said, okay, I get it. You know,
Mm.
I always believe that Jesus does always call us higher.
Yeah.
But here's the thing: did did you just block all of those numbers, or did you invite those guys to that same space that you're in?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Um, so that was one of the examples that just came up for me, and something that made me to say like, okay, fine, you know, like I might not be responsible for all of my peers, but I do kind of think like we cut people off too soon. Like, listen,
Yeah.
man, guys, I'm not going to eat at McDonald's anymore. If you guys want to, that's chilled with you, but let me also call you over here. If you don't want to, just know that this is my space now,
Yeah.
and that's not my space. Don't invite me to McDonald's anymore.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? and and then there's also the side, and like, you know, the thing that hurts for me the most is kind of the side where you honestly feel like, um you you have no explanation for why we're not friends anymore. You know what, when these people have just said, listen, um we've cut you out of our lives. We don't talk to you anymore. We talk about you. We talk to other people about you. We discuss you, but we ain't talking anymore. You know.
Okay.
Um, if you have friends before you won idols and then you win idols, there's obviously a different demand on your life and a different expectation on
Mm.
your life. You know, and a good friend will be able to meander those platforms with you. You know, like at the core of who you are, you guys are still the friend, but they kind of understand that there's a different demand on your life. There's a different space in your life. But if we were to flip that thing around and I were to be like, I just won American Idol, I just won SA Idol, so don't come at me, don't text me. Listen, can't you go talk to Mpo down the road, or go talk to Tabo down the road, or go talk to Tebza down the road? Go talk to one of those people, because I am South Africa's idol.
Mm.
You get what I mean? That is extremely unhealthy. You know, man, like, listen, now I drive Mercedes Benz. Now, like, I've got my own business, whatever. Don't be blowing me up like that, because, you know, that is completely unhealthy. For me, when I'm on TV, all my friends are on TV.
Yeah.
When I eat, all my friends eat,
Yeah.
because that goes with the same thing. The unfortunate thing that I'm listening to is that, like, I didn't understand, like, what has changed. You know, like, the I might not have a full 7 days out of the week for you, but what would it take just that 5 minutes and to
Yeah.
help you with the thing that is bothering you.
Yeah.
You know, or at least being like, listen, I can't always be there once a week, but here's once a month that I can show up, or at least
Yeah.
explaining, listen, man, really like to be there for you. And there's nothing wrong with that. Listen, man, I'd really like to be there for you. I'd really like to pull through, but unfortunately, you kind of know the area and the space that I'm in.
Yeah.
But for me, like personally, and I'm not saying this is the standard for everyone, but for me personally, I would rather, respond a day late or say I'll be a couple of days late than to turn my back on people who have helped me come the place
Yeah.
that I am right now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's unfortunate, man. There are so many things. Like I think you even just said it in yourself. Like you got to realize, like, man, am I becoming a depressed person?
Yeah.
Am I becoming a neurotic person? Am I becoming a person who struggles with anxiety because I'm hanging around a certain type of person?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's one thing, because once again, if I'm supportive of you, I need to help. If it's in me, I need to help get you out of that, or we need to
Yeah.
support each other to get out of that kind of
Yeah.
thing. If someone's turning you into someone that you're, because when you do open up your life and invite people into, you are kind of giving them the authority to come paint their colors in your life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I don't know, like some people just come in there and painting. They're just painting with
Yeah.
these weird and wonderful colors everywhere, and they just think that the world revolves around them. And those are the red flags that go up immediately. You know, it takes us a little while longer to
Yeah.
realize that. I was laughing so much. Pastor Stephen Furtick was again giving the example, and he laughed about it, and I also thought about it and laughed. He's like, he doesn't know who came up with this, decided to use this as an illustration, but the frog that kind of gets put in different temperatures, and the frog doesn't realize that it's about to be boiled alive until it kind of, or like, comes out there and looks back and like, that thing would have killed me.
Yeah.
Human beings, we're the same. We're the absolute same. We jump into this cool water. We love your cool approach. We love the way you sweep us off your feet. We love the way you make us feel. You love whatever. But then the temperature starts getting hot, and everyone around you starts realizing that that thing is going to kill you, but you don't realize it because you've adapted to it.
Yeah.
And we must never underestimate, as human beings, our ability to adapt, to change, even if it is abuse. You'll always hear him say, man, or you'll always hear her say, he was such a great guy when I met him. She was so amazing when I met her. I had no idea when I met him that this is where I'd be a couple of months down the line. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you need to have those internal spidey senses almost. Not being overly like nitpicking and everything, whatever. But there are some things that you should just not compromise on. Like I'm just not gonna compromise on you talking down to me. Not gonna compromise you raising your voice abusively at me. I'm not going to compromise you lifting your hand at me. I'm not going to compromise. I'm stuck on the side of the road. Is it that you can't get out of the meeting, or is it that your FIFA game is taking longer than expected? Someone broke into my house. I'm okay, but I need some comfort. Is it inconvenient for you to wake up and come over to my house right now? Or is it that you're stuck in a hotel because you've got a business thing in the morning? You hear what I mean?
Yeah.
There's certain things that we just shouldn't compromise on. And one compromise can lead to the other. Before you know it, you've adapted to becoming someone that you don't even know that you are.
Yeah.
It's especially when you've been in relationship with this person for a lengthy period of time, that somewhere deep down inside of you, you're hoping that this person is not who they're showing you that they actually are.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? You're hoping, like, the reason you make the excuses for them, the reason why you don't tell other people about it. The reason you're embarrassed is because you genuinely hoping somewhere deep down inside that this person is actually not what you're experiencing them to be.
Yeah.
You know, because obviously, like, I think there's a degree of love in there, there's a degree of friendship in there, and you genuinely just feeling like, I kind of hope that it's not what it is.
Yeah.
But eventually, like, you know, you got to stop hoping and start realizing, like, this person is who they're showing me that they are. Or maybe I don't mean. And one of the hardest things is to admit to yourself that you're not actually in the position that you thought you were in someone's life.
Yeah.
That you gave yourself that position in someone's life. And now you thought the position would come with some benefits. And now you're looking around you and you're like, oh shit, like that was a place I gave myself in that person's life. And they enjoy the benefits of it because with the position, you gave off a certain type of loyalty. You gave off, you know, there are a lot more benefits that possibly come from your side, but from their side, you know, it's going to get to the point where it's time to place the demand on them. They're going to be like, well, I didn't really put you there.
Yeah.
You know, like you made me your best friend.
Yeah.
I didn't make you my best friend. You know, you liked the qualities that you saw in me. For me, I was still undecided. You know, like, so you came to help me when I needed you, but the reason I'm not helping you is because actually, you know, I don't think you're as important to me as what I am to you.
Yeah.
And it's difficult to hear that.